Have race relations actually gotten worse under America's first black president? I'm John Phillips, and this is Poll Position. A new Bloomberg Politics poll asked a simple question. Do you think race relations have gotten better, gotten worse, or stayed about the same under the first black president? Here's what they found. An astonishing 53% said race relations have gotten worse. 36% said they're about the same. 6% said they've gotten a little better. 3% said they've gotten a lot better. And 2% said, I don't know what you're talking about. Here's what's interesting about this. I think the American people are actually getting this one wrong. The American people say that race relations have gotten worse because this is a media-driven narrative. If you watch MSNBC, if you watch CNN, all you hear about is blacks and whites not getting along, blacks and whites thinking differently about every issue under the sun. But the reality shows something different. Take the state of South Carolina, the home of John C. Calhoun, one of the states that wanted to break away during the Civil War, a state where you would expect race relations to be the worst in the nation. What happened this past November? I'll tell you what happened. Nikki Haley, the state's Indian-American governor, was just reelected. What happened in the United States Senate? Tim Scott, a black candidate, did better than Lindsey Graham, a white United States senator, the senior senator in the state, did better than him on Election Day. If race relations were so bad, wouldn't you assume that South Carolina would be the epicenter of this and you'd get different results? Wasn't the case on Election Day when Americans went to the ballot in the anonymity of the ballot booth. Let's move on to other parts of the poll. The poll also asked about the grand jury decision not to indict Officer Darren Wilson in the shooting death of Michael Brown. The results showed a sharp racial divide. 64% of whites and 4% of blacks agree with the grand jury, while 89% of blacks and 25% of whites disagree. This is an issue where we've seen a large disagreement in the races from beginning to end. However, that's not always the case when it comes to police interactions with black suspects or blacks suspected of doing something wrong. Take, for example, the death of Eric Garner in New York. That creates a similar difference of opinion. 32% of whites and 6% of blacks agree with the grand jury, while 90% of blacks and 52% of whites disagree. This shows that whites aren't coming down on these issues based on race. They're looking at the facts of each individual case, and sometimes they think one thing, sometimes they side with the cops, sometimes they don't. That's what happens when you're in a democracy. That's what happens when you look at the facts and you're not looking at race. Explain that to Al Sharpton. That's the position of the polls. If you'd like to make your opinions heard, you can do so in the comments section right below me. I'm John Phillips, and this is Poll Position.